Hello everyone and welcome! In my previous Yu-Gi-Oh! History video, we examined the first English set released in early 2002, Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon. The next English TCG releases were Starter Deck Yugi and Starter Deck Kaiba. However, they are structure decks and I do not respect them enough, so I will be skipping them. As a result of this skip, we will have reached Metal Raiders on the early Yu-Gi-Oh! Timeline. Now, let's stop dilly-dallying. You saw the title, so let's jump right into the top 10 cards from Metal Raiders. Starting off the list with an honorable mention spot is Catapult Turtle. Once the partner in crime with Magical Scientist, this card gave the player the ability to tribute a monster to inflict half that monster's attack as damage to the opponent. The card has since been eroded to include a once per turn, making it not so good in its current form. But, for its legacy, it had to be mentioned at the start of this list. Making a splash at number 10, we have 7 Colored Fish. This colorful guy may not look very special, but held a very critical role around the time that Metal Raiders was released. With an attack stat of 1800, it was tied with La Jin, the mystical genie of the lamp, as the monsters with the highest attack that could be summoned without a tribute. Obviously an 1800 attack monster with no effect is not very useful today, but given its prowess at its time, it had to be included at the top of this list. At 9th on our list, we have Cannon Soldier. Similarly to Catapult Turtle, this card allows the user to tribute monsters to inflict 500 damage to their opponent for each. Unlike Catapult Turtle, however, this card has never been eroded to include a hard once per turn, allowing a player to tribute as many monsters they want to inflict 500 damage for a potential of 8,000 game-winning damage before the opponent even gets their turn. As recently as 2018, this card was included in FTK decks that had impressive results, including top 8s at the YCS and regional level. Now sliding in at 8th on our list, we have Summon Skull. With 2500 attack, this fiend was the strongest one tribute monster that anyone could place in a deck. Being able to get out this card quicker than 2 tribute monsters, along with needing to commit less resources to get it on the board, allowed whoever got Summon Skull out first to take the driver's seat in many duels. Once it was played, unless the opponent could draw some sort of removal at the time, it was near impossible to out. Following up Summon Skull, at slot number 7, we have the Magician of Faith. Although her effect is less than a full line long, she makes sure to pack a punch with it. When this card is flipped face up, the player is able to add 1 spell from their graveyard to their hand. This sounds okay, but slow due to the flip. But imagine it's the early 2000s. There's no such thing as too slow, and powerful spell cards such as Pot of Greed and Delinquent Duo are still legal. This effect actually got her placed on the Forbidden list in 2007, and remained there until 2014, when she did in fact become too slow for the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Coming in at number 6, we have our first spell/trap of the list, Mirror Force. This powerful trap allows a player to destroy all opposing monsters in attack position when the opponent declares an attack. For a formidable time after this card's release, it shaped the way that people set up their boards. When someone was going to attack against another monster, they had to beware of the face down, and may have purposely left monsters on their side of the field in defense to play around a Mirror Force. Next up at number 5, we have this little guy Sangan. If he is sent from the field to the graveyard, you may search your deck for a monster with 1500 or less attack. A majority of effect monsters, especially in this era, met the requirement, and players could freely search their deck for so many possible monsters through Sangan. Although, there is another card in the set that does pretty much the same thing Sangan does, but just a little bit better. Taking up the final monster spot on the list, at number 4, is the Witch of the Black Forest. Her effect is very similar to Sangan, allowing a player to search their deck for a monster with 1500 or less defense rather than attack when she is sent from the field to the graveyard. She gets the nod over Sangan, however, for having a better pool of targets. Oftentimes, some boss monsters may have extremely low defense, but strong attack, allowing them to be searched by Witch of the Black Forest, and not Sangan, giving her a nod here at number 4, and the top monster on the list. At 3rd, we have the trap card, Solemn Judgement. At the cost of half a player's life points, they can negate the summon of a monster or activation of a spell or trap, and destroy the card. Not only has this card spent significant amounts of its lifespan on the Forbidden and Limited list, but it has also had 6 erratas. some of which just to clean up card text, but some of it to make it slightly worse, and still sees a lot of play today, giving it a respectable spot at number 3 on our list. At runner-up, placing second on our list, we have the recently unbanned Change of Heart, with the very simple, yet immensely powerful effect to target one monster the opponent controls, and take control of it until the end phase. Can't get over the big boss monster your opponent got out? Well, guess what? You're in luck. Just borrow it for a turn. Kill him. Then what are they gonna do? Not much more even has to be said about this card. It's straight to the point, but that point sure does pack a punch. And at first place, we have the spell card, Heavy Storm. With an even easier card text to understand than Change of Heart, this card simply allows a player to destroy all spells and all traps on the field, including their own. Destroying your own spells and traps may seem like an issue, but in certain decks, it actually plays to their advantage. One example of the advantage that this card can create is through the field spell card, Gear Town. When Gear Town is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, the player who controlled it can special summon an ancient gear monster from their hand, deck, or graveyard, all of them. The ancient gear archetype is host to plenty of powerful monsters, and this would be a clear advantage in the duel if you were able to pull it off. Heavy Storm is actually still banned to this day, however, because of cards such as Gear Town and numerous others that grant the player advantage when they are sent to the graveyard. Don't forget too, even though I'm talking about the advantage that you get from destroying your own cards, this destroys all the opponent's spells and traps as well, and I'm sure they wouldn't be too happy about that. And there we have it, folks, the end of the list. I hope that you gained a little bit of insight into the power that this early pack provided to the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope to make some new content soon, so if you enjoyed, drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you won't miss the next upload. See you next time, and have a great day.